Well, welcome back to your Glasgow. I feel like Lauren Laverne actually, I must admit. I got a fly in here, that's not good, is it? How can I get that fly? No, didn't get it. Go out. Oh, that's not good. It's a rock and roll life, isn't it? It's a rock and roll life, and this is your Glasgow, by you, for you, with you. I'm sorry we're about 15 minutes late, and we've got a packed evening, so I don't even know if we're going to make it up. So don't set your alarm clock yet. By you, with you, for you. Fantastic, and all we need is you. We have had young people here. We had a young lad from the school here today playing his drums. Mr. Walton, head teacher, sent me a couple of messages today. We've got a very, very special person hopefully going to be performing and being part of this tomorrow. It's just wonderful. Glastonbury is such a global inspiration. The pyramid stage itself is an icon of creativity. There's absolutely no question about that. So what else would we build in this playground of a school that was the community school of the year for the Times Education Supplement 2 years ago, alternative position, a school that takes children from the community and welcomes them into the building. And that's what this is all about. I now need to stop playing for time and realise that I needed to actually get Lennie's mum on the line here. So David, so who's David? Here's my programme. So this is the programme. We haven't got tomorrow's yet because we haven't had time to do tomorrow's. This is today's. Let me have a quick look here. And we've all gone a bit of a blank now actually. So we are looking for, there's no David on there, so I don't know who David is. That's from ages ago. Oh God, here we go. Okay, so here we go. I've got Lennie's mum's. So if you're sat at home in Sheffield, Sally, you're Lennie's mum, because today is Lennie's day. We are just about to connect to you now. The sooner I can click in here, the better. And we are going to get you on the system, and we're going to have a little chat. Here we go. So we've got two. So let's hope it's that one. Let's say hello. I haven't actually connected with anybody completely random yet. I'm the only random around here, I think. I've now got to sort of press a few buttons here to get that up on the screen, and that fly's going to annoy me. Did I get it? Oh, did I get it? Tell me I got it. And let's press that one there. That's looking good. Turn your phone round. That's it. Fantastic. Hello, Sally. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hi.
That's wonderful, isn't it? I just need to. Where should we put you? Let's come back over here. Oh gosh. Okay, well that's all right. I'm going to put you in the middle of the pyramid stage. Have you got a second screen lined up? Are you able to see what's going on here?
I do have a second screen, but I can't quite see it. So
have you got it connected to YouTube, or because you won't be able to see what we're going to see in a moment if we're not careful. But
it's okay. You go ahead, and I'll try.
That's fine. Don't worry. There's no big rush. So basically. Okay. Today is Young People's Day, Kids Day, and we thought who could we just name today after, and Chris Dyson in Leeds is our connector. He's Mr. Connect. He's introduced us to all sorts of people over the years. Chris Tolson in Bradford, funny enough, Paul Garvey down there in Devon, all sorts of people we've connected through Chris Dyson, because he just sits there tweeting and retweeting. He's fantastic. And we saw a film by a young lad called Lennie. Who's got some special needs, and I'm not going to start trying to guess them now because I know I've got them wrong actually earlier, which is not very, very smart or very clever, so I apologise for that, Sally. And we thought, well, let's call today Lennie's Day because he loves music, you can see him working so hard, and I think he's an inspiration to us all really, that you work hard and the power of art and music, and I know that the performance tonight is going to touch everybody's hearts. I haven't actually seen it. Sally sent me some clips. Lennie's actually in bed at the moment, but we've got a film which we're going to show you, which I'm hoping is going to be very special. I know that Stephen, who's worked very hard today to make it work, he doesn't do half jobs. So Sally, did you get your Skype, your video up? Did you manage to do that? If you didn't, don't worry.
I'm just trying to get you up.
I did do it the other week, and we had a young lady called Kerper actually from Leeds as well, because you're Yorkshire, Sheffield, Yorkshire, isn't it? Of course it is, yeah. And Chris Dyson's going to give me stress for that now. And
we're in Leeds actually. We are in Leeds.
Oh, you are in Leeds. Oh, okay. So this is a Leeds Mafia thing, isn't it? It is the Leeds Mafia. So not to worry. It's all God's county according to some people. That's all good. So you want to just get yourself on the Steamco YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm on it. It's just showing me something from earlier.
Okay, go to the home page. Let me just check we have got that up there. If you go to our YouTube channel, it should say that something's live. It should have a little red live by it. Yes, it has. So you're on there. I can see you on the YouTube channel.
Yes, I'm on. I can see myself.
I'm actually going to click on that and see if there's anybody. So turn the audio down on that if you don't mind. I don't know if there's anybody watching. Is anybody watching? Let's have a look. Anybody? Let's see. So you just turn that audio down for me on the laptop, so you can now see yourself on there, can you?
I can.
There you go. So tell us about you and tell us about Lennie and playing the piano. Let's have a little bit of context.
Yeah, sure. So Lennie's 8. He was born very, very prematurely. He weighed only £2 when he was born. He was very, very poor and had lots and lots of issues, and kind of still does really. Until he was about 5, he couldn't use his left hand at all. And we were worried about him in lots of ways. So he still can't hold a pencil really properly to write with, and struggles with cutlery. But bizarrely, he seems to be able to play the piano with both hands. So we were surprised by that, and obviously very pleased by it, because music is the thing that makes him the happiest in the whole world. So and it's probably the only thing that he doesn't need any help with or any support at all.
That's important, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Piano. He listens. He doesn't read music yet, and I'm not sure if he ever will really. But we'll have to see on that. But yeah, he hears a song. He tries to work it out, and he seems to have perfect pitch, which helps a lot with that. And music is kind of his way of communicating really, because he does struggle with communicating generally in the world. So music is the thing that connects him with people, I think.
I mean, I can't imagine a more appropriate person to be here today on this stage, because this is when we sort of talk about this as a people's Glastonbury. This is not to say that Glastonbury isn't a people's festival by any means. You know, they're not around, they're not able to run the event this year, so we've just opened the stage up and we've drawn inspiration from the Pyramid stage and tried to bring everybody and everything into that stage. So a variety of creative performances and workshops are taking place on this stage tonight, so it's been absolutely wonderful. Should we watch the little film now then and see what you think of it? Should we do that? Brilliant. Right, okay, well I'm going to go away. Fingers crossed. Okay. As I say, I haven't seen it before, so I'm going to turn my microphone down, because my microphone is very noisy because I've got fans in here because it's so hot. So let's just drop that down. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lennie. I am cerebral palsy, and I play great tunes. I'm going to play What a Wonderful World, then Hallelujah, then Me. Here we go. Thank you.
Wow, how amazing was that? Gosh. What'd you say to that then, Sally?
Yeah, bless him. He just, he just loves to play his tunes. He's quite oblivious, really, to a lot of things. But you put him in front of his little piano, and he just loves to play his little tunes. And he loves to know if people are listening and making them smile. So this is a great platform for him to, to show more people what he can do, and regardless of his disabilities and his barriers. It's just fantastic. So, thank you very much for helping him do that.
I'm quite lost for words, actually. I thought it was just absolutely superb, and such a lucky lad to have a mum like you, so committed to helping him have opportunities like this. I hope he enjoys that. I'll send you a copy of the video, but it's now on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, and I hope that people will share that to show what you can do and how art can connect, and the pleasure that somebody can get who has some challenges in some areas but can do things in others that none of us could dream of. I couldn't dream of being able to play the piano like that. So hats off to you and your family and the community there in Leeds. And I know that Chris Dyson was watching that, and very, very powerful. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think the project is absolutely amazing. I really do. We've all really enjoyed watching it and seeing it progress. So well done to you all. Amazing,
thank you. It's labour of love. That's what gets you through, I think. And a couple of fans. Bless you. Take care, Sally. Stay safe, and love to Lennie. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Oh gosh, that was something else, wasn't it? Blimey. So Saturday nights at the Pyramid Stage. I wouldn't want to follow that, I don't think. I know who is though. It's Asifa Hack, actually. Now I've got to track her down. Whereabouts is she going to be? Let's have a look. So Malumba is doing a fantastic job today. Where is I need Ramina's Skype details. How are we doing for that, little Malumba? Let's have a look. I need to have some sort of music in the background, don't I? Oh, here we go. Oh, that's not. Is that it? Let's see if I hack. Yes, there we go. As if by magic, it's arrived. Malumba is absolutely all over this. I'd love to get him on, actually. I might get him on. Yeah, I think I'll get Asifa on, and I'm going to get Malumba on. Let's get Malumba up just quickly. Let's get Malumba up here and just see what he thought of that and how it's looking, just very, very quickly, because I don't want him being too locked out. If it's hot in here, he's in a little boiler room around the back, Malumba is. So let's get him up here now. And that's going to be 7. So that's... Here he is. Malumba, how are you? Are you okay?
What a beautiful child.
Wasn't that lovely?
Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And he's so beautiful to look at, watch move and stuff. It was just absolute prodigy. Absolutely loved it.
And once again, Stephen...
But you need to get moving with the programme, my friend.
Once again...
Asifa is waiting for you.
Okay, I'm going to get her now. Stephen Faulkner did a lovely job of that video as well. SJF Productions. He's done a beautiful job there, hasn't he? That was lovely.
Absolutely wonderful. The whole entire thing is stunning. The sound was beautiful. So yeah. And can I leave you now, because I'm juggling a bunch of things?
Yeah, it's all good. Thanks, man. I just don't want you to feel too left out. Lots of love for Malumba up here, who's our producer. He's producing the event around the back. So spreadsheet city, emails, all sorts of stuff. He sends me messages. He's a right old bossy boots on the old WhatsApp, but that's all good. He's a bit of a dodgy dancer, but that's all good. See you later, Malumba. Bye-bye. So, here we go. Hello. Turn your phone round that way. So this is all very exciting. Hang on. So... And what am I going to do here? So I need to press that button there and get you up on 6. And yeah, that looks like it's going to... Are you still sideways?
I am.
Yeah. Have you got the screen lock on? Is that what it is?
How's that?
You're still vertical. You need... Have you got the screen lock on the phone? Oh, that's it. Right, stay like that. Have you got a second screen on as well, or just the phone?
I've got a second screen on.
You're well organised, you TAs, aren't you? You sort of run the schools, don't you? I'm going to bring you up now. I'm going to press that button there. There's Asifa Hack. Hello, Asifa. You are now live and direct on the pyramid stage at your Glasgow. How does that feel?
I'm so nervous. My heart's beating.
I'm quite excited actually, because that means that somebody's taking this nonsense seriously, which is good for me. I'm quite chuffed about that.
I've just been sat here waiting, thinking, "Oh my God, when can I do this?" And just my palms are all sweaty now as well.
So tell us. So you're from Bolton, is it?
I am from Bolton. I work at Sunning Hill Primary School, which is an outstanding school. I've been there since I was 18. Left college. I was at home. Mum got sick of me being at home, so she was like, "Right, you're going volunteering." I said, "Okay then." And I've been there ever since.
So you're a teaching assistant at the moment, are you? You're a teaching assistant. So tell us about that as a job. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, before I had kids, I had no idea what goes on in school, and I think that's one of the points. Actually, a lot of people don't appreciate the work that you guys are doing. So tell everybody what a teaching assistant's role is, and yeah, in your situation.
As my head teacher likes to say, we are the most expensive resource in a school. We are literally there for the teachers, the staff, whatever's going on. We are there to prep the lessons, be there for the children, talk to them, offer our input. I know that my school, we're very big on team teaching and everyone's equal. And in that way, I get to do a lot of standing up at the front, especially in maybe like art lessons or science lessons. It'll just be like the teacher will be so happy to just say, "Right, you're welcome to take a front seat on this one because you're better at this." And it's just all about using our strengths at my workplace and really just getting it out there.
Fantastic. Well, that's nailed it, isn't it? That's brilliant. So I came across you at an amazing event run by an absolute rock star. Talk about rock stars. Graham Andre, who's amazing. He's the only teacher I know who's been BAFTA nominated for a film around equality. He ran the Brewed the Art. So I'm one of those idiots that spends all day tweeting like an idiot. #Brewed Arts. And then I realised about 5 minutes before the end that it was #Brewed the Arts.
Oh,
so
gosh.
all my tweets were a waste of time, which is why nobody followed them. Although it doesn't happen much anyway. And just a wonderful event, and you did a talk there, didn't you? So tell us because you've obviously it was an arts event, so you've got an interest in art.
I do. I mean, at school, I very much did sort of all the so-called academic subjects. I took Spanish and chemistry and biology for A level, but in the back of my head, I knew that my passions didn't lie there. My passions are very much art and textile based. Which at a primary school I can very much channel as much as I want to. It's great. And then I sort of took it on more as a hobby, kept it going. I feel like it's really good for my mental health. I love getting stuck into a piece of artwork and just, honestly, it could be 5-6 hours later and I'll still be sat there and it'll feel like 20 minutes for me. So I've managed to do a bit of that over the lockdown period. In schools, I get to sit at the back of the classroom sometimes, have a go at something. And I'll be honest, I really like doing that. I mean, I'll be working on a project for the children, but really I'm just learning new skills for myself, which I then can teach the children. And it's an all-round winner, really.
That's fantastic. I love that. And you have a real passion and interest for art as well, don't you? Have you got that? You showed a piece of art last week, didn't you? Have you got that to hand there?
I have. I hope it doesn't blur it out on Skype. There we go.
It is a bit blurry. It is a bit blurry actually, because you've got your fancy camera thing on, haven't you? Your camera blur.
But I don't know.
Actually, just hold it still, and then that's it. That's really cool actually. So the background's blurred. So tell us about this picture that you did.
So obviously, in light of everything that's gone on in the media, this black fist kept popping up on all my social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, and I just thought it's a really strong symbolic image, and I'd really like to just use my art skills and I use alcohol inks and do another piece on that and see how that goes. And got talking to Graham and Ed over on bred the arts, and I said, would you be okay to put this on for auction? And they were more than happy to. And I guess from there, it's just taken a whole new road.
Absolutely fantastic. It's a beautiful piece. I'm going to take a little photo off the screen, actually. This is just lovely to see you holding that there like that. It really is very, very special. If anybody's watching this at home, take a shot of that and tweet this, because this is... Oh, now my camera's being silly. Come on, why is it not working? There we go, that's going to work better now. Nice. Hold it still, and then we'll get it in focus. It's funny because it does go blurry. That's it, that's pulled it back. It's amazing the way it pulls it back. Look down at it again. Look as if you're looking down to the picture. That is a beautiful picture. So interesting enough then. So you just saw that fist sign around. What does it mean to you? What did that make you feel when you saw that picture, that icon?
It's just a really strong fist, and it shows that whoever is going through everything that they're going through at the moment, it's just I feel like it's it could be like punching up in the air in victory, showing solidarity together. I feel like it's just really strong, solid image that really resembles everything that's going on. I feel like the artwork is a place for expression for me. I've lost everything from my head.
Don't worry, that's fine. You keep going. You're doing very, very well. It's brilliant. Really, really, really wonderful. So it's interesting because it is a fairly well established symbol for, if you like, for, as you say, for solidarity, for standing up for people's rights. And I think to pick that was absolutely perfect. So basically,
it's a universal picture. I think anyone that sees this fist now will know that's what it's for. It resembles Black Lives Matter, equality, people having the opportunity to prove themselves or show themselves off before being judged. I'm a strong believer in never judging somebody until I've had a chance to speak to them, see what they're all about, and just this image is, like I said, universal. Everyone knows what it stands for, and I just wanted to give it a go in my style with the alcohol inks and the flashes of gold, which I feel like might represent opportunity, chance for something better to come out of the darkness, maybe that everything's there's always light at the end of the tunnel almost.
That's lovely. It's it is an international sign of solidarity and people's rights, and I think the fact you've chosen that and taken it for yourself is wonderful. We've with your permission, we put a bid in for that with the Arts Council and the National Lottery have given us a grant, emergency grant for this project, and we have money to pay artists who otherwise would have no income. And they're fairly small amounts, but we've been paying artists that you've seen performing today in the last few months, and we put one of those bids in to the charity because we felt that we'd love to have that picture because of the story you've just told and your role in your society and community. And then we were outbid by somebody else, Rob Smith, who I know is very passionate about social justice and everything that picture stood for. So we added our bid to his, and you've got quite a few £100 there to go to that charity. So what charity did that go towards in the end?
It went to Access UK. I was researching for quite a while, and I noticed a lot of the charities were exclusively for maybe black men or black boys, and I felt like, hang on a minute. Black people come in all shapes and sizes and all genders, and I thought, well, let me carry on searching, and I found Access UK, which promises to help children in their education with the opportunities, and I feel like every child should be given every opportunity that is going. So I've decided to send all that money off to Access UK. That's
fantastic. And we've with our contribution, we've claimed the rights to display the picture there tonight. Can you see that on the screen there?
I can. It looks incredible. Very proud feeling for me right now. I never did think my art would ever get so far.
Well, that display, we've only just got it done. That's going to be on the back of the stage for the rest of the weekend.
Gosh, that's incredible.
Tomorrow and Saturday. It's been because we've had it done in 3D. So when Glenn Matlock plays tomorrow night, that's going to be the backdrop for his set. He was one of the Sex Pistols that launched the punk rock revolution back then. But for us, we don't see punk. Obviously, punk rock is a genre of music, but punk is about attitude. It's an aspirational thing. It's an attitudinal thing. It's an agility. It's a desire to be creative and use your art and creativity to make the world a better place. This weekend, we're calling on punks 1.0, granddads like me, if you like. I'm not a granddad, but I'm of that age, to inspire tomorrow's generation to stand up for creativity, to stand up for children, to stand up for community. And we're so grateful to Rob Smith for supporting you and supporting this and letting us borrow that tonight. We're very, very grateful. Below that picture is another beautiful picture. Actually, I'll just move along to that, which is of a black guy and a white woman shot in Portobello in Notting Hill a few years ago by the gentleman on the right there, Charlie Phillips, who was of the Windrush generation. He's considered to be the Windrush generation photographer. And I'm actually going to try and get Charlie on the phone now, because did we have this planned in for now? Let me just see, but even if we didn't, let's have a look. Yes, we did. So I'm actually going to, would you, so Charlie Phillips is that gentleman there. Would you mind if I got him on and kept you on and you could talk to him as well? Would that be cool?
No, that sounds great.
It's a little bit tricky because I have to put my phone by my microphone, but let's give Charlie Phillips a call and get him up here, because he is an utter legend and he'll keep us going all night. He's just wonderful. Gosh. Let's get him on the phone. This man was from the Windrush generation. He went to the first ever carnival, Notting Hill Carnival. He went to the first ever Glastonbury Festival, and let's get him on the phone now. Charlie's got a £4 mobile phone, so he doesn't do video.
Yes, Nick, I've been waiting for you, man.
Hello, Charlie. We're live to the world, so don't get rude with me, please.
What's that?
I said we're live to the whole world at the moment, Charlie, so watch your language. Don't start slagging me off. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, yes.
So, Charlie, just to let you know that we've got a lovely lady here called Asifa, who's from Bolton, and she's just been telling us about some artwork she did that is a black fist, clenched fist in the air. What would that picture mean to you, Charlie?
Which one?
You know, it's not one of your pictures. You know the picture of a black fist that would have been the anti-Rock Against Racism fist in the air. You know that symbol?
I can't remember now, Nick.
Don't you worry.
Who took it?
It's not a photo. It's an icon of some. You know the fist in the air, like the Che Guevara kind of vibe.
Yeah, the Che Guevara, yeah.
So tell me what that fist represents to you, Charlie. A fist in the air.
Picture.
What does
that represents the revolutionary era that we used to go through, and I went to many a demonstration from the CND, the anti-parties, and the anti-Vietnam March. But mostly CND, because we wanted revolution at the time. You know, this was when we were going through our teenage syndrome era.
Okay. So tell Asifa about your story very briefly, how you came to London and the carnival, but then tell us about Glastonbury. We want to know your Glastonbury stories, Charlie.
You want some of the Glastonbury stories?
I do.
Right. When are you broadcasting?
We're live now, Charlie. So we're actually live now. This is going out to the whole world.
Now? Oh my gosh! Hi. Yeah, my name is Charlie Phillips. Yes, and I'm one little Glastonbury. I was there from day one when it first started. From my recollection, it was started by a lady called Ariel Churchill, and she was a community worker in the area. And this was the time when they were having a big gentrification of London, when they were building that flyover, the Westway flyover. And a lot of people became homeless, and she found a lot of squats for people. Anyway, there was lots of deprived kids in the neighbor, so she decided to take them down to Somerset for 1 year. And some of these kids have never seen a real cow or a real chicken. And I think it was Glastonbury where she took them down. So, yeah. And Michael used to give them free milk, and we used to spend the weekend around the campfire singing a song, singing songs, and having a good time camping out. It went on for a couple of years. So then it got hijacked by different people coming down. And it was also a free festival. And 1 year he tried to evict a lot of people from his land because it was taken over by, hijacked by the peace convoy. To me, in those days, it was like a working holiday because on the way to Glastonbury, there was another festival called at Stonehenge. So we leave London on the Sunday, stop off in Stonehenge Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, we'd head for Glastonbury. In those days, it wasn't an official festival, but Michael used to have the posters printed in London and the T-shirts, and we used to advertise it, tell people about it in London, yeah? That's a London crowd, but then it became nationwide. When they started charging people to come in, they used to have to give a donation. I remember giving a donation, and I had a small stall there, and they wouldn't ask for it, but I was selling corn on the cobs, and over the years it became very popular. So he selected a space for me called the front line, and I used to be beside the front line, and along that stretch was his daughter Emily, and she used to sell brick and brack and bits and pieces, yeah. And this was a very low key festival. Well, when it started to get big, was the appearance of Mike Oldfield. I think that's where he done Through the Little Bells, and they had laser lights all over the place, and that didn't go down very well because it frightened the whole community. And this is when you had a lot of anti-Glastonbury. Nobody wanted it. Yeah. But finally, years after he used to go down, and the abuse he used to get. Why didn't you get a job? Why didn't you get a bob? Why didn't you get yourself a proper job? Yeah. Look at it, 70 years, 50 years later.
Big difference, Charlie, isn't it? Big difference.
It's different. It used to be, and how it's changed. It's not a working class festival anymore. Years ago, I used to treat it as a working holiday. Yeah, because seeing I'm a country boy deep down, it's the only chance I had to get out of London for a week or 2 weeks sometimes. Yeah. It began to change, I think, when CND took it over and Greenpeace. Yeah, because we could get sponsors. So all the most of the neighbours were still anti-Glastonbury. Yeah, until Michael pursued, and he got some of the people on his side. I've had a lot of memorable moments because I also used to do volunteer work with the festival welfare services. Yeah. That's how I used to get in for free sometimes, and with my catering experience, when it came Sunday, a lot of the young kids run out of food, so you could give them basic food, egg sandwich or tea and coffee, feed them on the way home. Yeah, some of the kids used to OD or take on pills. That's where you go to get advice. Over the years, you've seen it change. And the reason I've seen it change, you don't see any bangers down there anymore. You see four-wheel drives and Range Rovers and the Chelsea tractors. Yeah. I remember one year I went, I bought this mini van for 40 pounds, drove it down there. Thing couldn't get started. I had to leave it down there and came back each time. Like, things like that. And these are exciting moments I've had. Over the years, when it was getting very commercial, I used to spend most of my time in the green fields, and I used to go with the TP people. This was a time when the green field became more holistic, more spiritual, and I used to go up there and chant and watch the sunrise coming in. Oh, it was amazing. And this was like in the early 80s. Then I started to appear on Radio Glastonbury because we were one of the old timers, and now it's all changed. One of my worst memories was one year it rained, and I think Van Morrison was top of the bill, and where we were, it was flooded, but I had a enjoyable morning listening to Roy Cooper, in one of the marquees, and that's when I really had time to sit down and listen to the music from Glastonbury. Then another memorable moment I had was, funny enough, when Rolf Harrison appeared. Time Kangaroo down, he had a standing ovation at about 10 o'clock in the morning. He opened Glastonbury on a Sunday morning at about 10, 11 o'clock, and I was still in my tent, half asleep. But no matter if you're around anywhere in the surroundings of the pyramid stage, you can hear the music loud and clear. That's another memorable moment I've had in Glastonbury as well, you know. But over the years it's changed, and I used to have a small stall along with Michael's daughter Emily, and seen there was a lot of people from Notting Hill who used to come down. Yeah, that passageway was called the front line, and I always used to be on the front line, smoking Joe, opposite the pyramid stage. Well, anyway, a few years later, the big boys, the hot dog and the hamburger merchants, came in and offered the festivals a load of money, and I couldn't compete. And this is when I sort of got out of the food business. But I always get invited down by different stall holders and different friends, yeah? And this was the first time I had a chance. After the time, I wanted to meet up with Arabelle, and she was busy looking after the theatre. Yeah, I'm so glad that I got invited when they named the bridge after her in Glastonbury. Yeah.
Lovely. So Charlie, I don't know if you sold it to Asifa. And Asifa, do you fancy going to Glastonbury now, based on what Charlie's just told you?
What's that?
I'm just asking if you've sold it to her. If Asifa's sat here, I wonder if she fancies going now as a result of that. What do you think, Asifa?
When?
I've got somebody else here, Charlie, on the line. Her name's Asifa. Asifa, say hello to Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Hello.
How are you?
Can you hear her, Charlie?
I can't hear her.
It's probably because... Let me try again. I'll turn my speakers up. Try that.
Hello.
Was Asifa speak to him? No, we're getting feedback on that. It's the problem because you're not on the phone line. We're not to worry. So,
I'm on my mobile phone.
Yeah, we're not to worry. You've got one of these fancy smartphones, have you, with all the fancy screens and stuff?
What's that?
You got one of these fancy smartphones, have you, Charlie?
No, I've got a smartphone because my pension money doesn't take me far. I've got ordinary £4.99 Tesco phone.
Well, I'll tell you what, Charlie. I'll swing by and see you next week because we're going to give you one of the Arts Council payments because you are an utter legend.
Thank you.
You've warmed hearts with your beautiful photography.
Thank you.
We've seen it over the years. I think that picture.
But I've got more stories to tell you. I've got lots of memorable moments, you know, because another one of my memories. I took my son down there when he was 16. And we took him in a big marquee, and all these teenagers, mostly teenagers, listening to Fat Boy Slim, and I was the only old boy there. And when Fat Boy saw me, he said, half a case of mineral water for me. I thought, if I'm all right, you know. I was the odd one out because I was the only old boy who was dancing to Fat Boy Slim, you know. But you got to keep up with the with what's happening, yeah. Another memorable moment of mine is when I introduced a band on stage 2 there in conjunction with Domino Records called Pavement, and I was dressed in my Smokey Joe's outfit, and everybody was amazed. And that's another memorable moment I have. I don't have that if I've got that on film anymore, yeah. Then I'd say my personal favorite was when Weather Report, my personal my all-time personal favorite band was when Weather Report came on. And then, I've seen Al Green and Isaac Hayes, and Johnny Cash. But it's all changed now because what's been happening 20 years ago or 30 years ago, some of the stars you see who's coming to Glastonbury, they turn their nose up on it. Now every has-been wants to come to Glastonbury. That's the whole sad thing. And one of the things is, I just go as a guest to someone because, for my pension money, I can't afford, 200 quid, 250 quid. I'm not slanging it down, but it's not for the working class people anymore. That's how I feel. And it's lost a bit of it. There's no peace and love. It's so commercial. It is unbelievable. It's lost its theme. It's lost its love. Yeah, and that's my personal opinion. I don't know if I'm getting old, but it's so commercial. They got bands there, they got bars there, they got bistros there, they got VIP areas there. And as I said, I tend to go to the small festivals now, and the free festivals sometimes, because that's what I think festivals are all about. But times change.
We just had somebody on, Charlie, actually, who said that making a profit is not a bad thing, but what is bad is when that's the only reason why you do something. Do you know what I mean?
Making a profit is not a bad thing, but making it affordable, as well, it also could be a good thing.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
It's very elitist now. It's become very elitist, and as I said, I'm still proud of my working class roots. And it becomes an annual event like Ascot or Wimbledon or whatever, like Henley,
Well, they've got to take the money in. So
I mean, how ridiculous! Some of the people who go there don't even know to put the tent up. I was there one year, and they had the local Boy Scout who used to show people how to put the tents up. I was there another year. A friend of mine had a stall. And there was these two guys who came down there. They came down for management control and management leadership, and they came to Glastonbury to pay by credit card. And I say, you're crazy. Well, anyway, there was this guy, one of the only stall owners. This is before they had the banks who accepted credit cards, and they said they're down there for leadership. The company bought them a brand new tent sleeping bag. He took 4 staff down, and they were learning about leadership. The guy didn't even know how to put a tent up or take a tent down. So I had a tent after, No, seriously, it's very it's very commercial now. You don't see the real diehard festival goers there anymore. Or the real diehard.
We all move on, Charlie. We all have to move on sometimes, don't we?
We all have to move on sometimes.
And I hate to say it, Charlie,
but I go as an observer as well, And last time I had a bit of rock with security there, So.
Okay.
That's another story anyway,
Charlie, I'm going to let you go now because we've got to move on. It's 9 o'clock. I'll swing by and see you next week.
Thanks for having me, and I hope they bring it back next year, and I'll be a guest to someone.
I'm sure they will. And what we'll do is
and who's been left out is Arabella. Arabella's been left out of it because she was one of the pioneers of Glastonbury, and I want to thank my family because she was the one who introduced me to Somerset, and it's one of my favorite parts of the country. So, in fact, I still got roots down there because my caravan is down there still, on a farm, and I go down there 3-4 times a year. But now it's so expensive with the petrol, but still neat. I intend to go to the what's his name party because he has roots down there. I forgot his name now.
Oh, not to worry.
I'm getting old.
Well, I'll bring you some photos around, Charlie, because you won't believe what we've done. But we've actually built a pyramid stage in a school playgrounds just down in Glastonbury.
Whereabouts in Glastonbury?
It's on a school playing field just down near street. and
Right.
and basically
Street.
street.
Yeah, I'm in Godley. I'm in Godley. So when are you going down there?
Well, we've pretended that we've built a pyramid stage in
A
the
pyramid stage.
yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
out of cardboard and toilet roll tubes.
Oh, lovely, 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 lovely.
And
You want
it's-
to keep the culture alive, you know, because it's Glastonbury now. I'm so, you know, with the incentive, Glastonbury has got to be accepted now as part of British
Absolutely.
culture, just as carnival should be, you know. But it took them some time to accept Glastonbury for what it is, and now it's one of the biggest. It's put Somerset on the map worldwide.
Absolutely. And the other day,
Worldwide, you know, that's
Yeah.
incentive. Yeah, and the people, if Michael had followed the people, he'd have packed up many times. But as I said, when you've got something new or different, the institution is always against it.
if Michael
But it's becoming now.
if Michael and Emily were listening now, Charlie, what would you have to say to them?
If Michael and Emily, well, I hope Emily takes over and do a good job. But the only thing is, I think she should have more music for our age group as well, you know?
There you go. What would that be? What band would you like to see headline next year, Charlie?
What band I'd like to see headline next year? There's about two. No. Grateful Dead, if they're around still. Grateful Dead or Van Morrison.
Okay. Well, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
And we were talking very quickly, just finally now.
And Blood, Sweat and Tears as well.
I've
No.
got.
I beg your pardon. I'd like to see them have Santana.
All the oldies. We were.
Yeah, I'd love to see them have Santana or the Beach Boys.
Oh, they had the Beach Boys. Yeah, there. So, Charlie, I've got a picture up at the moment of you in Parliament, and when we were in Parliament,
You got a picture of me in Parliament, yeah?
I've got it up on the screen at the moment. The whole world is seeing it at the moment on the internet. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter. The whole world is looking at your picture now.
Hold on. Can you tell my friend what? We can look at it now. Hold on. Hello?
Hello.
Ask while you log on to it.
Oh, sorry. You want me to log on to something? What is it?
Oh, you've got his computer there, have you?
Sorry?
Have you got Charlie's computer there, have you? Can you show me on... Can you
Yeah,
get...
I mean, I've got the phone. I can log on from the phone, can't I?
Yes, if you can get YouTube up.
What's that?
Can you get YouTube on your phone?
Yeah, no problem.
I didn't realise he had somebody round there tonight.
Yeah, he's got everything. He says he's a technophobe, but he's actually got an iPad here.
Has he? He's a rascal, isn't he?
So if I go on YouTube...
Go to YouTube and search for Steam Co. STEAM space Co.
STUMO.
No, Steam as in hot water steam.
Oh, okay, Steam.
Space CO.
Uh-huh.
And that should take us to our YouTube channel. Is that taking you?
Yeah.
And you should see one of the videos. It's got the word live on it in red.
Right, okay.
Can you see that?
I'm just getting there now. Steam Co. Powering communities to inspire
That's
children.
the one. Yeah, that's what we do.
That's the one, okay.
So if you go on there, you'll see a video that's got live written by it. This is quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I've got somebody else. I've got a young lady in Bolton here watching as well, and you'll see her. Charlie will see her, and he'll see himself.
And you just go to the bit where it says live.
Click on that, and in a second, Charlie will see himself on the internet, live to the whole world. Sounds like the coming for him.
Marvellous. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. I'll pass you back.
Can he see it now? Can he?
Yes, nice one, Nick. Thanks for having me, eh?
Charlie.
Thanks for having me. Give me 5 minutes, a bit of thing. Keep the culture alive. Rock and roll.
Can you see the video, Charlie, on there now? Is it on there now?
Is it on there now? My friend is looking it up.
Well, let's wait until we'll stay on the line until you can see it, because I'd love to be here when you see that.
Stay on the line if I can see, yeah.
Do you remember my car with the little trailer behind it, the little white trailer?
Yeah, what was your trailer?
Oh, I still got it. It's at the front. I'm going to show you a little video in a minute of that. Tell me when you can see it.
Yeah, can you see it?
Looking for what?
She's still looking for live.
Live?
Explain it to her again. Yeah.
Okay, it's all right.
Explain it to her again, yeah.
Sorry, did you say live?
Yeah, you should see there's a video with the word live on it in red.
Okay.
Can you see that?
I'm looking. I just went into where it said about what's happening on between June 26th and the 28th, but I'll go back now.
Okay, were you in YouTube when you did that, or were you?
No, I'm actually on a site. I'm on your site.
Oh, you're on our website, are you? No, you need to go to YouTube. So go to the web browser. Go to the web browser and type YouTube and then space Steam Co.
Okay.
And then
just
that'll.
go on. Yeah. Okay.
That
I'll
should
go
find
back
it. Let's have a look.
and I'll find it. Okay, I'll pass you that. Okay.
All right, Dick. Thanks a lot, yeah?
Hey, hang on the line, Charlie. I just want you to hang around until you see this.
I might still hanging on there.
It's okay. Don't you worry. There's no rush. You're not rushing off out, are you, on a Friday night?
No. You know, they've got the BBC has hijacked it. You know, they've got the whole... Yeah.
I couldn't possibly comment, Charlie.
That could comment as well. We've got some music now.
Has she got it up? Tell me when she's got it up, and tell me when she can see you on there.
She can see me on there now. Yeah.
Right.
Let's have a look. She can see me now, yeah. Oh, nice one, Nick. Thank you.
Well, you hold tight, because I'm going to show you something now, Charlie.
I'm holding tight now.
Turn the audio down. We're getting a feedback loop now because he's got his audio on.
Oh, I see.
Charlie's got his microphone on, his sound on the site on the YouTube, so we're going to get feedback now. I just wanted to see what he says when he sees the pyramid stage we've built. You're right holding on, Asifa?
Yeah. I can hold this back up again.
Yeah, that's lovely. Do that.
Nice one.
Can you see it?
That-
Got it now. Who's that lady?
That lady is the lady from Bolton. She's a teacher from Bolton who drew the picture.
Lovely. Oh my gosh.
It's not in focus, which is quite irritating.
I know, because you've got your Skype blurring on. It's focusing on your face.
I'll do that.
Come and eat.
Don't hide yourself. You don't have to hide yourself. It's because the camera, you've got the feature turned on that sees your face and blurs everything else out.
I wonder how I can turn that. Aha!
There's a little
Blur
button
my
in the corner. If you go to those three little dots, if you want to turn it off.
Yeah.
Can you see that, Charlie? The pyramid stage.
Yeah, I can see you talking to the lady.
Can you see the pyramid stage on there?
The
Go.
pyramid stage. Yeah.
What do you think of that then,
I
Charlie?
can see the pyramid stage. Is that the original pyramid stage in Glastonbury or your one?
It's our one.
Beautiful.
And I'll tell you what, Charlie, it's not even real. We've done it. We've done it with computer graphics. I'll have to explain that to you one day.
All right then.
You take care, Charlie. Lovely to speak to you.
I hope so. Okay.
I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.
You two buy and keep the culture alive, yeah?
Always.
Yeah,
Take care,
nice
Charlie.
one.
Bye bye.
Bye.
There you go. That was quite remarkable, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So he's quite a character. Have you heard of Jimi Hendrix?
I have.
So he's a pretty big rock star. So basically, Charlie told me one day that He went to a party in the 70s, I think it was, 60s, 70s, and saw Jimi Hendrix there. And he took Jimi Hendrix's photo, and none of the magazines or newspapers would take it off him because they didn't know him and he was black.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Now.
And now he's represented by Getty Images for photos, fantastic photos. That for me is the photo of Black Lives Matter. It's a photo for integration, it's a photo for diversity, it's a photo for everybody coming together. We've got Love Music, Hate Racism, which is the old Rock Against Racism up-branded, and of course Black Lives Matter there for George Floyd. So thank you so much, Yasifa, for joining us tonight. That was
me. It was fantastic.
You're a bit of a natural now. You're very relaxed and chilled out, aren't you?
Yeah, all nerves are gone now.
There you go. Well, these are the lessons we need to be teaching our children, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
Really
Stand
lovely.
up
so
and just do pleasure.
Thanks to you. Thanks to Rob Smith for sharing that picture, and thanks to Graham Andre, Ed Finch for running Brew Ed the Arts, because if they hadn't invited me, I wouldn't have met you. You wouldn't be here now. We wouldn't have had that poster up there. That is just absolutely stunning. And I'm going to get rid of myself, and we're going to get you on screen with your picture on its own, in its pride of place, because that is your picture.
Is that me doing that live, or?
That's you live to the internet and YouTube now, and there's the original. I'm going to take a picture of that as well. Hold that. That's lovely. Oh, you turned that feature off, did you? That's lovely. Hang on a second. Let me grab that.
You can see reflections. Just give me a minute. There we go.
Absolutely super.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you're on YouTube, stay on it, because we've now got a jazz symphony for Windrush. It's a beautiful work. It's a jazz piece that was specifically written and published and produced and launched, premiered this week by the Vortex Club in East London, and we're going to be showing that next. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been lovely to see you, and hopefully keep in touch. I'll have to come up to your school one day and we'll bring a Rocket Kid session up there. How do you fancy that?
Oh, that'd be absolutely amazing. My head teacher is actually part of a rock choir, so she would absolutely love that.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, you take care, have a lovely weekend, and thanks for your support.
You too.
Do some retweeting and sharing us, yeah?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. It's all about finding the common ground. Somebody who took an artwork, a logo that's very well represented, and this is the first time we've actually revealed our stage set. We're going to be putting that into the stage for the rest of the weekend. But the important thing for me, to be honest, is that green line at the top, because it's the 80-20 line. As the tag says there, hashtag that 80%. That 80% is what matters. That 80% that we all have in common, regardless of our race, our sexual orientation, our politics, our religion. We all have that 80% in common, I believe. And that's what we should be focusing on, and that's what we want to focus on this weekend with our art, with our culture. Not those two white bits, which are the bits that we seem to argue about, the bits that sometimes people just seem to want us to focus on. 80-20, and that's what it's all about. So I need a few little jingles or something really now. So let's go back to the system here. Malumba's got next in capitals, which is his way of shuffling things along. But do you know what? I'm actually going to get Malumba up just for 2 seconds. Come on, he'll pretend he's busy. He's got his feet up. We've got to catch him on the hop, I think. See what he thinks of what's been going on. Because it's a team effort, this one. Team effort. So let's get him patched in on that one. On 7. Here he is. Hello, Malumba.
Hello.
What do you think of that? It was great, wasn't it, to hear from Charlie?
Brilliant. It was good. Charlie, I enjoy listening to him talk, actually, because he can just talk. It's brilliant.
He's great, isn't he?
And tell his stories from 40 years ago.
No, you've got to love Charlie Phillips. So what's happening now, Malumba? Was I right with the Jazz Symphony? Is that what's happening?
Yes, I don't know if you want to ring Renee and then play the film and discuss it. I have no idea which way you want to do it.
Where is the film? Remind me.
Sorry?
Have you had the film? Have we been sent it, or have I got to go and find it somewhere?
that's your end of
Okay, that's all good. It's all good.
that's your end of the ball game, and I know you're on top of it.
Well, we're making it up as we go along. That's fine. But I'm just dialing up now, so it's all good.
Asifa's fist, the way she's done it, I'm quite curious. It's inspired me to try new techniques actually in my painting. And she's used gold leaf, which I thought was a really nice touch, and the interpretation of each meaning, sort of the silver lining, the hope at the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought that was quite powerful, because looking at the fist before, I didn't see it that way. I only saw it as a sign of protest rather than the sign of hope. So she sort of spun it around, which is very, very clever.
What I particularly liked actually was the fact that it's an icon that's been around for many years. People take it to be quite extreme, quite defiant, and I was really touched by the innocence that she'd sensed it, she'd seen it, and she'd made it her own, and I thought that was really very special, wasn't it? Very, very special.
That's what I'm saying. It's gone from defiance to hope, to light, to
optimism and positivity.
To optimism. Yeah. So I quite like that.
Well, the good thing is, Renelle Shaw is actually on the line, so I'll bounce you off, because you've got tons of stuff to be getting on with, haven't you?
I would love to bounce off. See you later. Enjoy.
See you later. Let's get rid of you then. So get rid of you, and I've just got to jiggle these buttons around. Hang on a second. Let's put that on there. And turn this up. This is where I have to sort of cross my fingers and sort of think of England really, and hope it's going to work. So it's always a bit of a gamble. Hello, Renelle, can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, go on.
There you go. I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
You're a tease, you are, aren't you? I'm going to look out for you, I tell you. Why winding me up like that? I'm just going to turn that camera off so you won't see me, but I can see you. Have you got the second screen running with YouTube on, so you can see what's coming out?
I'm about to. I'm on the page.
Spot on. Just make sure you keep the audio down. I don't know if you heard Charlie just then, but we had a bit of a feedback thing going on. I wasn't about to explain how that works to him.
Yes, no. My screen is muted, and I can hear you via my phone.
You're a pro. Fantastic. You can come again.
Right. I am. Yep. And I have this, and I can see myself. Yes, I'm ready.
Rock and roll. Fantastic. So. Can't remember how I came across your work actually. I'll tell you exactly how I came across it. I think it was possibly Trevor Phillips, a DJ, did a watch party on Facebook.
Okay.
And I saw that, and I must admit I can't keep up with some of these things, but a watch party, I don't know if you usually do it for your own stuff, or you just see something you like and it's a way of sharing and showing that people are sharing. And I saw it and I was just blown away. So could you just explain what we saw and the kind of context, and we're going to play some bits. How are we going to do this? Do I need to go and find it on a URL somewhere? Is that how we're going to do it, or what's the best way? Did you want to play bits of it or the whole thing? What would you like to do?
Yeah, we can find it on a URL. I've got the on the actual on my site, on my YouTube page, or if you just type in the Windrush Suite, it will come up, and I've put little time codes in the information so you can go to the exact songs.
Oh, that's cool. Let's have a look. The Windrush Suite, that takes me to the Vortex Jazz Club. Is that the place I want to get it, or do I need to go to YouTube for it?
You can.
Oh, I've got it.
What you want right now?
I've got it. I'm on the YouTube site. I've got it. That's cool.
Amazing.
And that is a 35-minute long video clip. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
All good. Fantastic. Is that you sat with the baseball cap, is it?
With the baseball cap?
Somebody sat on a sofa with a baseball cap on.
Oh yeah, that's myself.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the black and white picture looking pensive.
And you've been supported by the PRS Foundation. That's fantastic. So obviously representing creativity and artists' rights, and I know they're doing a lot with Glastonbury this weekend, which is great. Do you want to tell us about the project, and if you want to tell me what you want to show next, like do you want to see the first clip first? Is that the plan?
Yes, yeah. The clip that says the vision they had will be the first one. But supported by both the Vortex and the Foundation, who have been I guess they believed in what I could bring to the table. I had a conversation with Kathy Ann, who works at the Vortex, during the London Jazz Festival in November, and she asked if I would be up for working on something to take a deeper look into the history and the lives of the people of the Windrush generation. And what we created was the body of work that came out on Monday.
Cool. And so, and your role on that was?
My role was the composer, and originally we were going to, I was being commissioned to write the music, deliver it to the musicians and do a performance. And then, unfortunately, due to, what's been going on with COVID-19, and for the safety of everybody, everyone having to be isolated, we couldn't do that performance. So Kathy Ann, myself, and my mentor, Orphy Robinson, had a little meeting and created a way that we could do it, that we could kind of evolve this project into something that people could still reach people. And it became an album that was created in isolation, and I was able to use a lot of my really good friends because nobody was touring. All the good musicians were at home. So yeah, it's what we ended up creating. And then we got everyone to film their parts while they were recording. And my sister was involved in the editing and the direction of a lot of the visuals. And we ended up with this kind of concept album with these visuals that, almost tell another dimension to the story, I guess.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've got it queued up. It says Dave Holland, bassist, composer and band leader. Is that where we want to start?
That's the intro. And Dave Holland, who is a phenomenal musician, composer and arranger, himself and Kathy Ann have a event they do called, it just slipped my mind. I was literally about to say it. It will come back. The Shape of Jazz to Come. There we are. And it was the two of them, who kind of got me involved with what was going on at the Vortex. So Dave gave some of his time and created an intro for the Windrush Suite, and it almost works like an overture before, like if you're at the theatre. It really sets you up for what you're about to see. So what we can do, though, just because I'm aware of time and stuff, is if we started with the vision they had, which if you go into the info will be about a minute or so in.
I'm currently at 2:29. I think I clicked on the vision they had, actually. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's where I was at, actually. The vision they had. It starts on that clip, Dave Holland. So shall I play that now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and if you need me to, when you want me to stop, just say.
Second is Windrush Day, and it's the day that the UK honours the Caribbean community that began arriving there shortly after World War II. As a member of that community, Kathy Ann wanted to create an event that would pay homage to that generation and a musical portrait of their experiences. She discussed her idea with Ronell and asked him if he'd accept a commission to write the music. He gladly accepted and quickly went to work writing the music, and the result is the Windrush Suite.
Most people who came here during that time, they had a plan, because they've never traveled before. Some of us, But you see the people who've been here and back, and you listen to what they're saying, some rubbish and some half make sense, and because people go on and on and on, and you don't get to the root of the truth. So most people like myself say, I think I'll spend a couple of years and go back, But the vision you had, come here and spend a few years, you wanted to work to make some good money that we think was available in the workplace. But it was not. The wages were still puny, and I think from the treasury point of view, even today they work it out. Labor, how much you get for
how much per hour for a laborer, how much you get for a semi-skilled, how much you get for a top-skilled man. And that still exists today. And if you have a family, they got to eat.
The money's coming out quicker than it's coming in.
Oh, yes. Precisely. The history passes so quick that some of the things you don't even remember, man. Yeah, the younger generation need to know these things because you have people taking the piss out of you, think more or less you just come to beg, you know? You realize that you've been working and you've been working for pittance, really, all the years because you never get a top job. Of discrimination against people coming in this country. You know, no blacks, no dogs. Some people had that sign on their doors. It's a diplomatic scene now, but it's there. You see, the only time they might have a little change of mind or heart is if they themselves meet one of the opposite people who they're trying to discriminate against and discover them for themselves that they are as intelligent, if not more, then it opened up a new chapter in their head. Granddad come up after. Right. No, me never be granddad here. Young granddad was friends from back home. And then granddad come up.
So he followed you?
Yes, he follow me. He wouldn't stay out there not follow me. Me never know say I will come. When we say here, he say he right and say I come. Me say what the hell? And then he come and then after his hands will come. And all we actually always pack up with one room, you know, one time. Lord, kingdom. She always in one room, one bed of sleep. You have to do what you have to do to survive. And we did, I did. Yes, son, Iris come and eat. She never stopped. Great to come on. We were good friends from there, you know. Yeah. We used to work together and so on. But she come away and she wants me to come and dance for till. And she never stopped writing and say, oh, must come, you must come.
Plane or a boat?
Oh, plane, man. Boat? Ooh. Me didn't travel from boat, sir. Me not like the boat thing at all. Me know.
Wow. Well, that's something else, isn't it? Fantastic.
Thank you very
Let's
much.
get that back. It's absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. Sorry, I'm just all fingers and thumbs at the moment. Ronelle, that's beautiful piece. I mean, it's very, very accessible, isn't it?
Yeah. No, very much so.
I used to play the cello. To see somebody playing the cello in that context really took me back and really connected with me. It's beautiful. Really, really lovely.
Nice.
I have bad memories of the cello, you see.
Pardon?
I have bad memories of the cello. Just chords, if I'd had any idea I could have done something half as amazing as that, I'm sure I never would have, but that was special. Carry on.
Music's a language, so I think we all have something to offer. It's just about us finding our own sound, which is the hardest bit, really.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. What did you want to do now? Because it's your gig, really. I mean, I haven't got a list of questions for you. I've just
Cool.
I probably should have actually. Sort of think. I mean, your background. You're an accomplished. You composed this, yeah? You're the composer.
Yes. Yeah. And I played a few instruments on there to compensate for the musicians that I would have needed. But I'm a composer, songwriter, music producer, and what I found most important about writing this piece for myself was making sure that I connected with a generation that if they hadn't decided to take their journey over here, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing now. So I felt like instead of myself trying to explain, the history of a generation, why not allow that generation to speak for themselves and tell their truth? And what I could do is be the experiencer, similar to the audience, and catalyze that with music. Allow the story to present itself and just score it, basically. So even bringing in my good friend Ayana Witter Johnson to play the cello parts, it was about finding somebody who I felt would be able to connect with the energy and the message that I'm trying to portray. And we're good friends. I've known her for over 10 years. So, she knows my mind, and I can give her the freedom to add her own element of the story to it. And I think that's what really makes, especially that beginning, that intro part, that's what really makes it work, is that I'm playing with people that I've been working with since I was about 14, and we're all from different parts of the African diaspora. So it's very easy to connect with the music because we be hearing similar sounds and rhythms and melodies at house parties or family gatherings or just records that our parents play. And I just wanted to find the most authentic way to capture that and tell the most honest story of that generation. So hopefully that gives a bit more insight into those first 4 minutes.
That was very special. Did you want to pick another piece? What did you want to have now?
Yes, please. Can we look at the second piece, which is Bacchanal?
Yep. I'll just play that, shall I? I'll go straight in. Did you want to say anything? Just set it up?
I'll let the music speak for itself first, and I'll have a little chat after.
Okay, right.
You got to be diplomatic. A lot of people try to pump opinions. You're playing your guitar and you sound good, and they want to chat. The conversation don't want to end. Whatever they want to find out about you or know you as a person, everything coming at you, So you got to be diplomatic. You only let go as much as you want to.
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, man.
We don't even sleep no more. We ain't even trying to make peace no more. And if you had beef with the law, there's a whole lot of history here from before. Like when I speak to the first of the man, then tell me about beats in the back of a van, then tell me about teeth trying to deal them a hand, guaranteed to lose with no plan. Damn, we had enough. God save the queen. What about the people underneath? Tell me about guns. It's crazy to believe that the gangs of today are perceived as a hoodie with a lead. You fit the profile but relax. They feral with sterilized facts. I still don't like blacks, but they can't say it like that. Institutionalize their ways and sit back, they on track.
Expecting it to be as big as it was. I'm just thinking about the original carnival people up in Ladbroke Grove. Remember Mangrove? Some people, yeah, they used to go away for the weekend so that they were part of the noise and stuff. They probably didn't even expect it to be like that. I mean, some people may have stayed around, but I know when I was still going younger, like people were like, used to pack up and go away for the weekend.
There we go. I'll be honest, I did have to nip down to get a glass of water there, so I missed a little bit of that, but I did see it the other night.
That's all good.
At least I'm honest. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so back now. Well, I mean, the phrase itself, depending on what island you're talking to, I think it all kind of agree. It's about a joyous, a kind of wind up, enjoy yourself carnival kind of energy. And I think what's interesting about that energy is, depending on your perspective of the culture, it's either fun and enjoyable, or sometimes it can look quite intimidating, depending on who you are. So I wanted to write a piece that, again, really kind of delved into the culture from the perspective of both the people enjoying the music and the people perceiving it, like experiencing it for the first time in their city, in their town. And it was a tough mix, because I know that the carnival came out of, the unrest of a lot of Caribbean people due to things that were happening at the time, which is why I felt it was important to open with some spoken word that really captured, in my opinion, the feelings that I recognized that was similar to things I've heard my parents say, and similar to my grandparents, which is why there's a phrase in there which says and if you have beef with the law, there's a whole lot of history here from before. And it's almost just kind of digging into the fact that there are loads of people who actually have never done anything against the law, who are still sometimes very afraid of the police just because of the history of things they've heard from their uncles, aunties, parents and grandparents. So what I'm trying to do with a lot of this work is just create an awareness and allow people to recognize that, you know, in some part, like everybody's, you know, we live on the same planet, but our worlds are different depending on class, color, etc. So, you know, in my world, you're very aware. Some, you know, if a police car goes by, and some people are more than others. But in the midst of all the prejudice and injustices that may come, I wanted to portray something that shows how we are still able to find a way to celebrate each other through camaraderie and unity, and also, you know, find the joy in the times of sorrow. So that's why Bacchanal kind of spins between these two energies, a very kind of groove-related, heavy energy, and then moves off into a more kind of carnival type groove with kind of chord tones that are still quite diminished or half diminished. I can't remember what I was doing. But, you know, you get this kind of sense of celebration, but this sense of almost invoking the spirit. A good spirit, but invoking the spirit of dance and, you know, this kind of power, this force. So, and again, I allow the people of the Windrush generation to explain the story of Carnival and their process of kind of experiencing it as young people and as they got older, because I feel like they will always explain it better than I do, and I will do my best to be as authentic as I can with the music and catalyze their stories. So that was that's the kind of concept and idea behind Bacchanal. And
what was the reaction from the community? Have you screened this in the community or just online so far? Obviously, lockdown doesn't lend itself to communal screenings, of course, does it? Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know the Vortex were broadcasting it as the almost, I guess I'd call them the admin broadcaster, and they had from their feed, it was going off to lots of other places around the UK. I've been getting, well, my main source of feedback has been coming from Kathy Ann from the Vortex, who sends me messages about like reviews, and I get little snippets of what people have been saying. I've been getting a lot of messages online on my social media on how people are feeling about it. And I think the common denominator is everyone says like, it's a feeling. I can't put it into words, but it's a feeling. Actually, that's more my generation. I find my parents and grandparents seem to be able to quite eloquently describe what's been created, maybe because they've lived it for much longer. So that's been some of the feedback I've been getting. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a music critic by any means, jack of all trades, but it as I said, it felt very accessible. Did they relate to it? It's accessible yet creative, contemporary, isn't it? So did you feel that they related to it? I mean, I don't know if you just heard we had Charlie Phillips on a moment ago. Did you see that?
I caught just a bit of it at the end.
So
yes.
It's interesting because we asked him which bands he would love to have if he could choose the headliners for Glastonbury next year. And he said Santana, Van Morrison, which weren't necessarily bands that are synonymous with that culture, you know, which is interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, he's very broad-minded, and the community voices that you represent in the film, are they west, east, across London?
Different parts of London, all members of the Windrush era. And what's nice is that they know the stories of other people who are their friends, their family members, who have, you know, some from west, some from south, some from east, I think north as well. Yeah, and some from north. So it was quite an even kind of spreading of knowledge. But with most things, you know, you can only tell so much, and it's always going to be from a perspective. There'll always be somebody who will say, oh, but you forgot this and you needed to add that. So I try to do my best to find things that a lot of people could connect to in some sort of way.
I was going to say haters are going to hate, but hate's a bit strong, isn't it? That's not a good look. Not a good look at all. So what has the response been so far?
It has been Positive, you know, in if I was to break it down quite quickly, very positive. I don't think a lot of people expected to hear what was composed when they saw the title, The Windrush Suite. I know that a few people were kind of expecting more of a, I guess, Caribbean style in from the get-go, actually. And I didn't want to start it like that because as I grew older, my Caribbean culture became more dominant in my life. But when I was younger, I was just, I don't know, I guess I was around wherever I was around, but I'm second generation Black British of Caribbean descent. So I have a mixture of what I see at home, I have a mixture of what I see at my grandparents, and then what I saw at school. So that connection to my culture and the legacy that my grandparents' generation has, have started, it became more important to me the older I got. And I started to understand my place in things and why it was important for me to continue what they had started. Which is why I guess it's not until the second song, about 15 minutes in, you start to really hear the obvious infectious groove of certain Caribbean and African rhythms.
So you think they were possibly a common denominator to those other generations? Those are the hooks that provided the continuity, do you think?
Definitely. Brilliant. And if I'm honest, it wasn't originally a conscious decision. It was only when I was kind of writing, rewriting and looking, I noticed that the Caribbean rhythm and energy and melody was in there probably because I experienced it via osmosis. So whether I was conscious of it or not, it was playing its part and it was introducing itself to different parts of the music.
Well, they do say that children or unborn babies are influenced by the music their mother's listening to and they're inside a mother, let alone growing up as you did. So what your journey into arts, I mean, did you go to a school that's particularly rich with arts? Were your parents supportive?
My mum has always been so supportive, and my dad is a sound engineer. So I got the love for music from just, I guess, being around my mum and watching her and listening to what she listened to. And I got my love for sonics from really listening into what my dad was checking out, I guess. I went to a performing arts school. It got its performing arts status about 3 years into me being there. That was in North London, Highgate Wood. That's where I went to. And I studied music business at university. But a lot of my music training, per se, happened at the Hackney Empire under the tutelage of my mentor, Orphy Robinson. I think before I met him, I didn't realize there were musicians that good in this country, which immediately for me raised the bar on my own expectations. I thought I wanted to do this. And then when I realized what was capable, I was like, so this is just the beginning.
So hang on, so you're saying you didn't realize there were musicians as good as this in Britain?
Yeah, not at all.
Wow.
Yeah, not at all. Because what it was I was obviously seeing things on television and stuff, but this is me at like 13 years old. So it's safe to say that my parents' record collection was a lot of Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, Funkadelic, but these are all American artists.
Let me know when they're selling it, won't you?
Huh?
Let me know when they're selling it.
I don't think they'll let me know.
I could do some vinyl.
But, I was hearing a lot of that music, but it's American music, a lot of roots reggae, lovers rock, calypso. So I knew the music that was being played, but I didn't have any British artists that I recognized. And if I did, it would be like Sade or Grace Jones, Sting. But these are still people who are like a million degrees of separation away from me. Then I go to this course at the Hackney Empire and I meet a musician who is literally a part of the British jazz scene. He's a part of the history and he's opening these doors to me and going, there are kids your age just as good. Here's some of them, collaborate, maybe check out this. And he was introducing me to so many UK musicians who I didn't know about. Gary Crosby, the bass player from the Jazz Warriors, who leads Tomorrow's Warriors, he was my double bass teacher. I didn't know these people existed until I met Orphy at the Hackney Empire.
It's interesting. We had a conversation earlier with, and I commend it to you actually, a lot of the things you said echo this. Have you heard of a guy called Chris Sullivan?
I haven't, no.
Don't worry. Have you heard of a nightclub called The Wag in Wardour Street, Soho? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was his club.
Okay.
So
Nice.
he started that in the early 80s, when nightclubs in those days were overpriced, watered down beer, your feet stuck to the carpet, the music was rubbish, the bouncers beat you up, was good look at you. If you didn't have a shirt and tie, you weren't getting in. And I can imagine if you were black, you weren't getting in either. You know, it was pretty hardcore.
Right.
And he was talking tonight with Robert Elms. Do you know Robert Elms? And I'm not deliberately name dropping names, you may or may not. Do you know Robert Elms?
No, it's a great.
Right. Okay. This is. Yeah. You know, it's like my beer can's half empty or half full. You know, it's like your black book, isn't it? You know, we've got to top our black books up.
Absolutely.
Robert Elms, check him out. He has a show on BBC Radio London every day, Monday through Saturday, and he is a quintessential Londoner. And he was chatting with Chris Sullivan tonight, talking about exactly the sort of things you're talking about, and art and culture and accessibility and diversity and what we love about being in London. And Robert would get you on his show to talk about this, and you would love it, because it would be all the sort of things you're talking about. And he said to his parents, I want to work in the radio, I want to work on the radio. And they said, there are people that do those jobs and they're not you.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not being funny, that's a white guy, but that was a white working class guy. So the glass ceiling was set pretty low on class, let alone race in those days, unless you were in Notting Hill and West Kilburn where we are now. You know, it's fascinating that, you know, and what they put it down to. And I had a chat with Nick Hawkes. I don't know how much you know your dance music, but do you know a record label called Positiva?
I know of it.
Yeah, so they were massive in the kind of 90s. So he signed The Prodigy, he signed Little Louis Vega, the Bucketheads, The Bomb. He signed that. So he's a big name. And ironically, so we did a talk about getting into the music business, and he said his first break, he was in New York in 1986, the same year I was there, funny enough. And he blagged himself a job at WBLS Radio, which was a black station in New York.
Yeah.
A white kid blagged his way in there because he had to get up and go, and he got stuff done, and he was a bit spunky and blah blah blah, and it was quite ironic, because, you know, we're talking about positive discrimination and accessibility and giving kids breaks, and I personally think one of the biggest disadvantages as we come out of lockdown is going to be a private education for a lot of kids, because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you had a private education, you just said that. You had a private education and you're not doing this. You know, I hired somebody recently who didn't turn up the second day because it was a bit too much like hard work, but
Well, what can you say?
do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, you really are such an inspiration, because the work you've done is just absolutely stunning. And do you have another bit? What should we have now?
Yeah, let's play the third piece, Out of Many Come One.
You got it. I'm like a jukebox tonight, aren't I? This is amazing.
I love it.
I'm getting a bit late in the day now to know what buttons to press. That's the only trouble.
The Windrush generation in 2017 was nothing less than shameful and deeply distressing for black Britons who were born long after those fearless migrants who came in 1948. An integral part of our heritage was under attack. There could be no better way to fight back than through music. Rennell Shaw's Windrush Suite is a celebration of the achievements of those who gave so much when they themselves had so little to their names. It is a thrilling portrait in sound of people with staying power, courage, and above all the conviction that they had a place in a world of their own making.
Out of many come one, out of many, come one, out of many 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 come one. When I think say we did done, but we really just come.
There you go, Ronel. I'm loving this. It's great. Really good.
Thank you.
So I'll be honest with you, I've been on my feet since 10 o'clock, so I haven't got a list of questions. It's not like the Jonathan Ross show where they've prepared loads of stuff, you see. That's the trouble. So I need
That's
you
cool.
to...
I'm happy to have a chat about it if you want me to.
No, please do. Yeah, no, go for it. That was assumed, really. Go for it.
Nice. Okay, well, yeah, out of many come one. Again, it opens with one of my best friends, Nandi, who's from Zimbabwe. And what's lovely is that in the intro, she finds different dialects. I know one is Swahili, one is Yoruba, I believe, and I know there's one that is Ndebele, which is the mother tongue of Zimbabwe. And she's finding different ways to say unity, which is important in so many ways. And I really wanted to create something that was just not in standard time signature of always 4/4. So this one kind of bounces between, I think, 5/4 and 7/4. And what I wanted to do is kind of just kind of fragment the concept of time, I guess, because just alongside a lot of the reading that I do, I look at time as the space between the observer and the observed. So depending on how you're observing it, be it via the visuals or orally, it's about you being able to find your own space in time with the music. And I look at that as, you know, similar to my grandparents' generation, trying to find their own place in space and in time, you know, when they came over here. So there's all these kind of feelings of, you know, beats that are a bit off. And I kind of, for me, those things represent like a vibe. It's like, but because you have your people around you, you feel a sense of security, even in distant kind of cities and places where that don't feel like home. Where we faded it out, which goes into the B section, there's myself saying, out of many come one, which is one of the mottos from Jamaica. My mum's side are Jamaican and my dad's side are Dominican. So out of many come one. I've heard it in, you know, different ways. It takes a village to raise a child. In South Africa, the word Ubuntu represents I am who I am because of who we all are. So it's this idea of recognizing that when you do something, you are representing all the people who gave you the space to be able to do it. So when you do it with pride, do it honorably. And as I keep saying, I try and do it authentically. And then a little touch on the end of that, which is what I finished it with, on a tink say we did done, but we really just come, which was a phrase that I heard when the Reggae Boys made it into the World Cup. And I really loved that because they clearly didn't win the World Cup, but they came with this fire and this pride for being here. And what that means, on a tink say we did done, but we really just come, it's like you lot think that it's over for us, but actually we're just beginning. And for me, I found that powerful because it shows the tenacity of a people. So, yeah, that's kind of a quick breakdown of the music we just played in a nutshell.
Fantastic. I'm getting my knickers in a right old twist here because these buttons, I tell you, it's so complicated. I noticed your face go red then because I actually flashed up the video in the wrong place. And I'll be honest with you, it's all gone downhill since you told me that your dad was a sound engineer.
No, it's totally fine.
Because this is about the poniest thing ever. I'm dripping with sweat. I've got two teenage sons who don't want anything to do with it, so I'm totally on my own. Have you got any idea what's going on in here out of interest? Do you want a little bit of a guided tour of your Glasgow? Would you like to see it?
Absolutely.
Fancy a backstage tour?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Is your dad likely to be watching, or is he on Match of the Day or something, or has he seen enough of this, do you think?
My dad is enjoying his peace in the mountains in Dominica somewhere.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've got 4 people watching on YouTube. So I don't know if anybody there would like to say something or make a comment, because if any of you'd like to Skype in, what would really make my day is if one of the 4 or 10 or 20 people who are watching put their hand up and said, you know what, I'm going to get Skype and I'm going to Skype in. I'd love to ask Rennie a question, because that Nick's doing a really rubbish job of it, because he's not a jazz expert. I've got a friend who is actually somebody who used to work with the Jazz Warriors. I think she was on the team, on the strategy team, the director down there for a while, and they did a performance for us a couple of years ago. So if anybody who's watching now is thinking, now that guy's rubbish, get him off, I want to say that, I want to ask a question, I'm dying to ask, just do it, it's cool, because this is your Glasgow, it's our Glasgow, it's my Glasgow, it's your Glasgow, because you'll never get up on the stage at Glastonbury. So let's actually put Rennie up on the stage, and I'm getting to a stage in life, let alone with half a can of Brooklyn Lager in me, and we're only drinking expensive stuff because the co-op sent us some, because we're doing a beer festival. I can't afford expensive drinks. So if I press that, that puts that there, and then I need to put you in a little window, which is that button there, and that button there, and then that button, and now you're on the stage. So that's good. So if anybody wants to be in a little window just under Rennie on the cardboard, you saw the video with the cardboard pyramid stage, did you, Rennie? Did you see that?
Yeah.
You saw our pyramid, you saw our cardboard. Do you reckon that was pretty cool, or?
Of course it is. Yeah, man.
You know it's fake, don't you? It's obvious it's fake to your generation, but a lot of, like my mum thought it was real, and a couple of other people have thought it was real, and I thought it was bad form that I was kind of pretending it was real, you know. They obviously don't know what a marketing stunt is, do they? Do you know what I mean?
I think it's real if the mass collective believe in it.
Do you know what I mean? And if it inspires, if it connects, then that's got to be good, isn't it? So what we've got going on here then is, are you on YouTube, are you, at the moment?
I am, yes.
Tell me when the video changes, because I'm not too sure what the lag is. It's usually about 8 seconds, but I've been told it's a lot longer than that at the moment. So tell me when it goes to a camera shot of me on a green screen. Oh gosh, is that what I look a bit sweaty, don't I? That's not a good look. Tell me when it's gone. Oh, I'm a long way behind. We got slammed for IP earlier. You there, are you?
Yep, I'm here.
So am I on a green screen now? And how long's that been there? About a couple of seconds?
Yeah, that was about 7 to 11, give or take.
It's quite a long time then. Believe it or not, Facebook's about a minute and a half, and Twitter's even